All right, all right. As y'all can see, I'm in a different location today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in my normal spot. Eric is actually in my normal spot today. That's why he's in the middle. We got to
It
keep
feels
it.
weird being in this spot.
We got to keep it somewhat consistent for y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm actually in LA right now with the Sickos. Shout out to the Sickos. And we're going to AEW Revolution here in about an hour and a half, actually, the doors open in a little less than an hour. But you know, we got content to shoot. So, you know, we got Steve back. He's done from his move. What's the deal, man?
Feeling good, man. Let's talk some wrestling.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Well, Elimination Chamber just came and went. How do we feel? How do we feel? Eric, I want you to tell the world what I said to you a few days before the pay-per-view, though. Just want to get this on record.
As far as
any predictions I might have made that may have came true that night.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, one of the biggest ones that a lot of people were not predicting, to be completely honest. And you called this a couple of days before it actually happened. And when you said it, it sounded so crazy to me because I just never thought that it would actually happen. But, I mean, the biggest news story out of Elimination Chamber is John Cena officially turned heel. And, I do want to say that Shane a few days ago had a hunch, and he was like, I think John Cena might turn heel. And he broke a few reasons down to me, and like it pretty much everything. I don't want to say everything you said came true because like we still don't really know the full extent of it. But I do want to say that so far your premonition did come true because yes, if you are living under a rock right now, John Cena officially, after 20 years of being lovable babyface, make-a-wish guy, all this good stuff, he officially turned heel on Cody Rhodes. And it's been one of them. It's one of those heel turns that is like, I love it so much because it's so polarizing for so many different reasons. So obviously there's just the fact that he turned heel in general. There's that part. The second part, the fact that it's under the rock. So it's him turning heel, but it's like he's also still under the rock. Yeah. So it's like we don't really know like how far this relationship is gonna go, like all that good stuff. Like the Travis Scott element was very interesting to me just because them introducing celebrity and then him being like, oh, I want to get my hands dirty. And then he actually slapped the holy shit out of Cody Rhodes. So, you know, I just think that like so many things about this heel turn are so interesting. And the best part about it is that John Cena hasn't even been on screen yet. And I don't even want to speculate on the rumors and stuff like that are out there. I'm just excited to see whatever he does whenever he comes back. Because a heel Cena is going to be extremely interesting to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Steve, what were your thoughts, man? And then let's actually, you know what? Let's back up for a second. Let's recap the show. Like, so let's start at the beginning and then we'll get there. Because I want to give you guys my thoughts.
I know Steve wants to talk about it. Then I can give my thoughts on it.
But yeah, go ahead, Steve. What was what was the first match? The first match was the women's elimination chamber.
I can give that at the end.
Steve, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, let me refresh my my memory here. What started Elimination Chamber? I'm gonna look right now. Elimination Chamber.
So that was Liv and Naomi.
First match was okay.
Yeah, the women's Elimination Chamber. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So basically, Jade kicked the whole thing off after all the entrants came in and walked up, and a lot of casuals, viewers thought that based on what they saw on Monday Night Raw that Jade Cargill was going right for Liv, and then she made a beeline right to Naomi and beat the living shit out of her. That cannot be emphasized enough. Jade absolutely destroyed Naomi. I'm actually surprised that Naomi managed to make it to SmackDown on Friday. But the whole theatrics of it was really interesting in that you had Jade beating Naomi up right in front of Bianca's chamber pod. And obviously, Bianca is best friends and tag team partners with Naomi. And three of them were, prior, like a huge tag team, like a trio tag team, basically. And so, you know, we'll talk a little bit more about the angle, in later episodes as, the program goes on with Bianca. But it was an insane start before the match even started, and it basically knocked out Naomi from the match. So we knew that she wasn't going to win it. And then what followed was, in my opinion, a great women's chamber match. Everyone got a ton of great spots. I thought Roxanne Perez and Alexa Bliss both looked amazing. And I thought Liv Morgan was probably the MVP of the whole match, from everything she was involved into the bump she took, and to, basically a lot of people probably thought at multiple points Liv's going to win this thing and go into face Rhea at the time. And a lot of stuff changes there, but Bianca winning it sets up a ton of layers for what's to come in this women's world title picture. I think that's the specific title. But what they may or may not do with her turning her heel. What a performer. She's so fun to watch. And it was cool to have her fight other women that, in my opinion, were on the.
Yeah, I can see why you would say that, because I mean, I agree with you, man. Like, Liv Morgan 100% was the MVP for the women's chamber match. Like, I think out of the past year, out of all the things that people would like to say about Liv as far as like her work and stuff like that, I think, to me personally, she showed out why she's a really great worker in this match. Like, to me, this was the best Liv Morgan.
And I think she has in the tag
so
matches too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think just as far as a performance in general, I think this was Liv's best one yet. And look at who she was in the ring with. She had to compete with a lot of top tier competitors, and the fact that she showed out amongst all of them, to me, speaks volumes. I agree with you based on the story that I am glad Bianca did end up winning, because just like you said, Steve, it sets up so many possibilities for WrestleMania. And I think the biggest thing right now that everybody is kind of debating and everyone is still kind of trying to figure out, is Bianca in with Naomi, or is this an isolated incident and this is Naomi all by herself and it's just going to be that? Or is it going to come down to a point where Bianca's going to have to choose between the two, between Jade and Naomi? And I think right now, just based on the promo that we got on Friday Night SmackDown, even though Naomi admitted it, there is still, to me, a cloud of doubt over the Bianca situation, because for me, I feel like until WrestleMania comes and goes, I feel like we're not really going to know the end result to that.
I don't know, only because why wouldn't Naomi just out her right then?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you're the one who told me to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
that is a good point.
Fell out with Bianca, unless they're both just acting and they're trying to string Jade along longer. But I mean, which is, in wrestling that can happen. But
I think, yeah, it's long term. I wouldn't be surprised at all if WWE has Bianca acting ignorant of the whole situation, only to reveal weeks or maybe a month later after Mania that she was in on it the whole time, and she's the one who put Naomi up to it. Naomi's just standing on business for her girl, Bianca, to not expose her.
Yeah, I mean, they could do it that way.
It's interesting. Too. It's a very interesting angle.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of
It's
places.
even more interesting now that Io won the world title last Monday night. So like that makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting for sure. So second match.
What did you guys think about because the Tiffany and Trish match versus Nia and Candice?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
As far as that goes, to me, there's only really two things that I took away from that match. Number one, Trish Stratus is still really fucking good at her age, and I don't know how she does it continuously to continue to prove how good she is. And then number two, Tiffany Stratton is just really, really good at working in the ring. Like, her ring instincts are really far for how young she is. And it's just really, it's fun to watch for me. Like, just as a fan of, like, just watching, like, how far women's wrestling has come up. Like, the word for Roxanne Perez prodigy gets thrown around for her, and rightfully so for her. But I would put the word prodigy right with Tiffany Stratton too, because I mean she's just really, really good.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean it was nothing like spectacular, but the story behind it was more so that Trish is 50 or 49 or however old she is, and she can still, hold up in the ring. You know what I mean? Like she didn't look out of place at all.
Not at all.
So the only thing that I did notice is that
it's just I think the whole match.
I was just gonna say the only
thing
thing
the
that
whole match really was, like there wasn't anything noteworthy, like you said, Shane.
Yeah, it was just right at the end. Trish was out of place, and Tiffany was trying to get her in place without like saying anything to her. So she was kind of like nudging her with her foot, and it looked like she kicked her out of the ring. That's the only thing, but so that was the only thing where I was like, okay, Trish, like you forgot that little spot or whatever, because I think somebody had to like jump. Like there was a reason why Trish had to be outside the ring. Yeah. So it made sense, but it was just a little something I noticed that was, kind of funny, but the match was good.
Oh yeah. Good match.
But no, the match was, the match wasn't like anything noteworthy, but it put over, one girl that's the champion right now, that's young and ascending and great in and out of the ring. And then Trish Stratus is the woman that you would hope Tiffany Stratton ends up having a career that's like, because she's probably the GOAT in terms of one of the GOATs in terms of careers in women's wrestling.
Absolutely.
Her longevity, the fact that she's still doing it now. So I thought the match was just a great showcase for Tiffany and Trish, and the crowd was into it, which I'll give them.
Yep.
Do we want to go to the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match?
Yeah, that was dope. The only thing that I would complain about is don't have a barbed wire spot if you're not going to get color. Like if there's not going to be any blood, there's no reason for barbed wire. Outside of that, that's my only complaint. Other than that, it was great. I loved it.
I understand.
I want to give a take on that match after Eric's done.
I understand why they didn't use color because of the angle that they set up later, which we're obviously going to get to. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you, Shane. If you're going to use barbed wire, there should have been some color for sure. My only other complaint about that match, I just thought it went maybe 10 minutes a little too long. I thought that some of the
I was going to say that.
Because here's the thing. When they started cooking towards the end with some of the spots that they really started setting up, I was all in. It just took them a really long time at certain points to get to those moments. And I get it because like there was a lot going on. Like there was a lot of moving parts as far as a lot of moving furniture and shit like that had to be set up. And these guys were throwing all at each other at the end of the day. So like I can't complain too much about the time length. I do think it would have been a little more effective if the power bomb spots that KO did to Sammy came like just 10 minutes a little earlier in the match. Other than that, I loved this match. I thought it was absolutely spectacular. I think KO and Sammy, like, when these two get in the ring together, I really don't think that they really can do any wrong, really. So
I agree. I think they're amazing dance partners. The story was absolutely there, and so you had a very hot feud. I agree with you, Eric. I thought the match itself was great. It was visceral. It was intense. It was brutal, which is why I kind of like piggyback off what you said. I thought the match could have ended maybe like 10 to 12 minutes earlier than it did. I thought towards the end of that close to pushing to the 20-minute mark, they were hitting some major finishers and moves that probably should have gotten to 1, 2, 3. Either way, obviously Kevin Owens ended up being the winner. But I just thought towards the end, not that the live crowd really had an issue with it. They were still into it. I just thought they could have gotten done what they needed to get done and cut off, 10 minutes of that match. But it is what it is. It was a 5-match. It was a 4-match card on this premium live event. So they wanted to give the fans what they want, and by God, they did.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That was gonna be my only point. I think that match went long because it was only 4 matches on the card. So, but
I think it was the necessity of having it. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
So then at the end of the match, Randy Orton comes out to get his revenge, and to tie it back actually to a fan sign, I want to say it was on one of his returns where I think he was on his way out to the ring for a match, and a fan was holding a sign that said "Bring back the punt," and he points at the sign and he goes and points back at the fan like, "I'll keep that in mind." So to bring that back, he tries to punt Kevin Owens, but the security guard stopped him. So I think what we're building to right here is a battle of who has the most killer, devastating finishing move. Kevin Owens with his package pile driver versus Randy Orton with his punt. Whoever hits their move at WrestleMania is going to be the winner of that match.
It's a really simple story, but it's the premise of it and the backstory of it is built off so much.
Because it's banned move versus banned move. Randy Orton's punt was banned and the pile driver's technically banned. So that's why that's, it's an interesting dynamic that they're throwing into the whole, "oh, you betrayed me" friendship angle. It's a nice, different twist that they're able to put on it.
I really like what they're doing so far with KO and Randy. And I thought, and to piggyback off that too, Shane, I thought Randy Orton's promo last night on SmackDown was incredible. I absolutely loved it.
It was great.
That's what's up. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that feud for sure. That build to WrestleMania, that's going to be really good. So, finally, we have the men's Elimination Chamber match. Pretty much what I expected. I predicted Cena was going to win. And I did not predict that Seth was going to screw Punk, however, to cause the win. That wasn't, but I did think it was either going to be Punk or Cena winning. So that was my thing. And then when it was the last two and then Seth was kind of lingering, that's when my spidey senses started tingling. I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's about to pull some bullshit.
So really they have some directions to go here. Now, I know that you guys wanted my opinion on Cena, but I want to talk about Punk really quick because the other huge domino that needs to fall is where's CM Punk going to be on the Mania card? And I feel like it's coming down to one or two directions. I think one could be, it's gonna relate to this upcoming Monday night steel cage match against Rollins. I think that Roman Reigns is going to interfere, considering it's MSG and considering he's going to be in a feud 99.9% against Seth Rollins. And I feel like it's going to depend on, does CM Punk win because of Roman Reigns' interference? If that happens, then we already mentioned that CM Punk has a favor to ask that he can always cash in on with Paul Heyman. So I think if that happens, I think it's no doubt that CM Punk's going to move on from Rollins, cash in that favor, and he's going to be in that WWE Championship match with Cena and with Cody. Or they could play it that Roman comes in, tries to interfere, messes up, and Reigns accidentally, let's say spears Punk, costs him the match, Seth wins, and there's your triple threat match. But I've always said with WWE, they're rarely ever making a huge main event triple threat match that isn't for a championship. So if I had to guess, I think we're going to see Punk on the night 2 main event at WrestleMania competing for a WWE championship.
So I guess my only question is how does Paul Heyman get him that?
Because of CM Punk joining the Bloodline at War Games.
Right, but so are we saying that Paul Heyman has enough favor with The Rock still to be able to get him in?
I would assume he does.
Okay.
I would assume he does, because I don't think he would offer that favor unless he had certainty that he had backing from the powers that be to put him in that match.
Okay. Because I can buy into that logic.
Because I don't buy as much Punk being in a triple threat with Rollins and Reigns when Rollins and Punk are facing off for the umpteenth time on Monday. I think the feud is going to get brought to an end on Monday.
That's just not the favorite. That's just the way that it gets booked at that point. And
I
then
think,
the favorite
because
something else.
Me and Eric were kind of talking before the chamber and when we were making our predictions, and we thought the one thing that I think will happen is Punk's not going to win, because how is he going to cash in a favor that's that big by winning the chamber?
Right.
That's why I'm wondering,
does he just hold on?
That was justification too for it.
That was what brought me out of favor with thinking that Punk was going to win. Not to get off subject or anything, because it's still in the same realm. Because kind of to go off of something that you said earlier, Steve, as far as other feuds that we're building, as far as Elimination Chamber. So, couple of days before Elimination Chamber, if you are online, if you just scroll your timeline or whatever and read a couple of wrestling websites or whatever the case may be, you probably would have seen that the betting odds going into Elimination Chamber was a high chance that Drew McIntyre was going to come away with the win.
He was the third favorite.
Yes. Yep. Thank you for
behind Cena and Punk.
Thank you for correcting me. Yes, he was the third favorite. Thank you. So, I think it shocked a lot of people when he was the very first person that was eliminated. Now, when it first happened, me and Steve were, I'm not going to lie, we were pretty upset by it, because we didn't really understand where they were going with this, with Drew being eliminated first. And we just didn't, we knew they were going somewhere with him and Damian, but we just didn't see why it made sense. Then a week goes by, and then we had some time to really sit and think about it, and really it actually does make sense. If you go back to the Royal Rumble, Drew and Damian were directly linked with eliminating each other when that spot happened, when Drew got eliminated. So it makes sense for that story to continue based off of that, number one. Number two, a lot of people forget that Drew and Damian have a lot of past beef from the Judgment Day situation, when Drew and Damian were fighting over who should be the leader of their War Games team. And they never really made peace off of that. And that story is maybe a year old now, but fast forward to now, they, again, like I just said, they never really made peace off that. So it kind of still makes sense for them to beef. And then, again, just you look at how the eliminations went. It wasn't like Drew just got eliminated. He immediately Claymored Damian's head off, and then Logan eliminated him right after. So I do think the feud the more and more they're telling the story, the more it does make sense. The things that I want to see now come out of at least that feud, I want to see Damian kind of flex his character the same way that he was the second time that he faced Gunther. I think the first time that he faced Gunther, he was a little nervous. It was a slightly different situation. I think the second time he faced Gunther, Damian was a completely different person. And whether you want to equate that to him being with or without the Judgment Day, you can chalk that up however you want to. But that is the fact on how it was. Damian was a completely different person when he faced Gunther the second time. So I just think if Drew can bring that type of intensity out of Damian and they can continue to build on that, I think their feud will be just fine, and I think their WrestleMania match will be just fine. And then everyone who is complaining about, Damian isn't a good enough person to face Drew, or Drew deserves better or whatever. I think at that point, if the feud is really good, and I think if the match is really good, I think at that point, everybody will not really have anything to say at the end of the day.
I love that, Eric. I agree. I think to piggyback off your point, I think kind of the fan objectivity to that spot and Damian eliminating Drew is what WWE's betting on. They're betting on Drew, who is an established top guy, to get out of Damian what he showed against Gunther the second time. Because to be frank, he hasn't shown that since he lost his title. And I think WWE's trying as hard as they can with Priest to make him an established dude, like along the lines of a Drew, which I think is why they're matching up, because they got to kind of figure out with Damian, is he a badass, more of a heel dude who really will intermittently maybe challenge for a world title, like let's say a Braun Strowman back in the day, or can Damian get himself over on the mic and start to flex his character, as you said, a little bit, to make it so that WWE can feel confident and say, okay, this guy could be a baby face or he could be a heel, just like Drew McIntyre. Basically, I mean, like they're trying to figure out, can this dude be like how we view Drew McIntyre? Yes or no? And let's see if Drew can get it out of him himself.
The biggest thing that
we'll
I
find
think,
out.
Eric, that you missed out of all of that history is the fact that Damian cashed in on Drew as well. We can't forget that for the world title.
I can't believe I forgot about that.
That's kind of, yeah. So, in addition to everything that you mentioned, there's that too. So, it was good. Obviously, like we said, Cena won. And then Cody comes out.
Let's talk about Cena for a minute.
Right then when Cody came out, I was like, oh, I'm right. So let me just back up and give you guys the clues that I read into to why I made that prediction. Because as Eric was alluding to at the beginning of the show, about 3 or 4 days before the pay-per-view, I predicted that John Cena was going to be the one to take the offer rather than Cody. So here's why I thought that. Because when he lost the Royal Rumble, he did that press conference afterwards. And the main thing that he said that stuck out to me, that I didn't really hear anybody talk about, but it stuck out to me, was when he said, I have to main event WrestleMania because that's what's best for business. When he said that stuck out to me. I was like, that's not a very babyface thing to say. That's interesting.
It's not a John Cena thing to say.
It's not a John Cena thing to say. That's interesting.
No.
And then when he put himself in the Elimination Chamber, he was like, I feel like I've earned it. Even that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. You have earned it. You've been around for however long. I wasn't mad at that. But when he said that's what's best for business is that I win the main event at WrestleMania, I was like, huh. So I held on to that. And then, like I said, I just felt like they weren't going to turn Cody heel because he essentially is who Cena was. He is the supreme babyface that everyone actually likes. Like, he hasn't gone through that Super Cena phase where it's like, okay, you win all the time, we hate you. He's not there yet. So because he's still beloved as a babyface, they got to keep that because it's really just him and Jey Uso. Those are kind of the only two that are just pure babyface. You know what I mean? Maybe Sammy. You could throw Sammy, but he's not a world title guy. So, it's really just those two in the main event. So you do need that. Just for business purposes, to be able to market to kids and have kids have a hero and have the person go on the news shows in the morning and go on Sesame Street and all that type of stuff. Like, you need a pure babyface for that, and Cody is perfect for that. So I knew they weren't going to turn him heel. I was just like, okay, somebody's going to take that offer, though. And then the closer we got to it, and the more I started thinking about that Cena quote, I was like, Cena's going to be the one to do it. And then when Cody's music hit and Cena stayed in the ring, I was like, oh, it's happening. It's happening. He's about to do it. And then the rest is history.
What a moment.
Yeah, what a moment.
Fans have been waiting for this for a really long time. Basically the last time that John Cena was heel was 04, 03 when he was rapping. And then he basically got over naturally because fans really liked him, even with the heel character. And the rest was history in terms of John Cena being a babyface. I mean, he's such a babyface that even when he turned heel, I'm starting to get scared that, not even be scared, but I'm starting to, think, even as a heel, he's going to get some of the biggest pops he'll ever get. And he's had some historic ones because the fans just love him. And I know that WWE was trying to, craft the little kids getting mad about John Cena, and I'm sure he can play into that. But fans like Shane, like Eric, like myself, the people that have followed him for a long time, we're not going to love him any less because of this. So I think WWE's kind of fallen into this gold mine where they're going to have, in theory, a heel versus a babyface, but they're going to have two of the most popular people in sports entertainment, period, main eventing WrestleMania this year.
It could end up being a Hogan Rock situation.
It could.
Yeah.
I don't think Cody will lose. Will kind of have that happen to him to the level of The Rock. And that wasn't The Rock's fault. It was just Hogan had returned and fans were just going to get behind him. Whereas I think Cena and Cody will get equal fanfare. It's because Cody, I don't know if, Shane, you saw his promo on Friday. Cody is just as solidified as a top bait. He's even talking like it now. Now look forward to Cody cutting promos as a babyface. It's really he's becoming kind of like the new age Cena. And it's really cool to see what kind of Cena are we going to get? Are we going to get new theme music? A lot of people are thinking these things. Is he going to come out with new attire? Is he going to come out with new ring music? What kind of promo is he going to cut? What kind of shit's he going to be talking? Because he seemed, when he turned, very robotic. Like he had been claimed by a higher power as opposed to just doing it himself. So I don't think this heel run will be super long. After all, he is retiring at the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns back babyface by SummerSlam, but I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this couple-month run that he's going to be a monster heel.
R.I.P. To Bray Wyatt. He called this out 5 years ago in the WrestleMania match, the cinematic match that he had with him, when he took John Cena through his whole career and everything, and just the promos that he was cutting on John before that, saying that you preach about hustle, loyalty, respect, but all of it is a facade, and one day the true colors of you are really going to come out. I love that all those things actually came full circle and that John Cena actually did turn heel.
And before Bray said it,
it just brings so much more validity.
Before Bray said it, Eric.
Go ahead.
And before he said it, CM Punk said it. CM Punk said this over a decade ago. And so that's why I think CM Punk being in this main event picture could really do some good, because there's established story there with both Cody and with John Cena.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
All right, gentlemen.
It'll be really interesting to watch.
Let's get into some AEW Revolution predictions. Again, as we said, I am in LA right now. I'm around the corner from the crypto arena, and I will be going with my shout out to Wrestling Bios. Got the Jam Bret Hart t-shirt on. Smokey the Cat representing. Yeah, man. I'm excited about it. Give me the match rundown, somebody, and I'll shoot off my predictions real quick before we get up out of here.
I'll go.
Happy
Eric.
Revolution Day, man. I'm real happy that you're gonna be in the building and gonna be in the show. There's a few matches in particular I'm really excited for you to see. Do you want to go through the pre-show or do you just want to?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's just run through the lineup.
All right, cool. So on the pre-show, it's Lee Johnson and Blake Christian versus Commander and Hologram tag team match.
I got Commander and Hologram.
Yeah, same. We know how they push them. They're gonna win that. That's not even a debatable one. Okay, this is an interesting one. Ring of Honor World Championship match: Chris Jericho versus Gravity.
Jericho, only because I don't know who Gravity is.
I don't know who he is either, so yeah, I'm going with Jericho as well.
Yeah.
And then the last match for the pre-show: Orange Cassidy, Big Boom AJ, and Mark Briscoe. Shout out to Mark Briscoe, that's my dog. Versus Johnny TV and the MXM Collection. If you guys don't remember who the MXM Collection is, they are the maximum male models from WWE.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions right now. They might win it, actually, just because they are the Tag Team Champions. And I don't see all three heels losing on the pre-show, so I think they might sneak that one.
I'm actually going to agree with you on that because Big Boom AJ hasn't had a loss yet on AEW TV, so they're probably going to give him his first.
Yeah, they can give him one. He can need a loss this time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, on to the main card. These matches are in no particular order. This is just what they are listed as on the site.
Mm-hmm.
For the AEW Continental title, Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King.
That's going to be a banger. I think I got Okada winning still, but that's going to be close. Like, there's going to be some near falls that make you think Brody's going to win it, but I think Okada's going to pull it out still at the end.
I have Okada winning for reasons that I will explain later for another match that I have predicted on the card.
Got it.
Let's see. For the this is going to be a good one. For the number one contendership for the AEW World Championship, Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet.
So the way they're telling the story, it's set up in a way to where Swerve has to win. Because if Swerve loses, Nana's going to leave him because Ricochet's going to still have the robe. And I don't think they're going to pull Nana away from Swerve yet because that's just too good of a winning combo. But I don't know, man, because Ricochet's been on fire lately. So, like, his character development is just crazy. So, I don't know. That one's tough. I think, gun to my head, I'm going Swerve, though.
I will say, as far as Ricochet goes, his character work, this is the best character work we've seen out of Ricochet, bar none, between both companies. So I really like what he's been doing. But I agree with you, Shane. I think it is set up to where Swerve kind of has to win.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going with Swerve.
Yeah, I think Swerve has to win.
Have you seen any of Ricochet stuff on his character stuff online at all, Steve?
Yeah.
Do you think it's mad goofy, or do you like understand why he's being the way he is?
Okay, the second, I understand why he's being the way he is, but at the same time, I think it's a little goofy. I'm a huge Ricochet in ring fan. I've just never really gotten on board with his stuff outside of it. But I guess he's gotten some traction with it. We'll see how it goes. I find him more annoying, but that's just me.
Yeah, he's like like the current character is pretty much like he's overly arrogant and annoying, like almost on purpose. And like the crowd teases him for being bald, so now he wears hats all the time, and like you know
It's
what I'm
interesting.
saying? Like he's like super insecure, but he acts like he's a big shot. That's
Yeah.
kind of the whole, you know what I mean? So it's been funny as hell though. But yeah, I think I got it. I think I'm going Swerve.
I got Swerve as well.
I think I'm going Swerve.
Yeah, I got Swerve as well. To me, this is the toughest match on the card, on the whole card to call. MJF versus Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
If you were to, based on the story and based on how much over Hangman has gotten in recent months, I would probably go Hangman, but in my heart of hearts, it's really hard to bet against MJF.
I think I'm going to go
to
MJF.
Me, I'm going with MJF.
I think I'm going to go MJF because I think they're going to keep the story going.
Oh, you don't think this is going to be their only match?
Nah.
Okay.
No, I think they'll go again probably at All In. So, yeah, I think MJF wins this one, and then they got to run it back at some point in the future.
Hot take right now. I think MJF versus Hangman is the best feud in AEW currently going at this present moment.
I don't know. I like Swerve and Ricochet a lot too.
I think at this present moment, based on what I've seen, Swerve and Ricochet is it's a close second, but MJF versus Hangman, like it's bringing back the MJF that I liked when I first started seeing MJF, and that's why I like this feud so much. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. For the AEW tag team titles, no contest for me on this one. Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners. Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hurt Syndicate's got it.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks
no
might come
contest
back
on that one. Same thing on the next match. No contest. Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe. Yes, thank you for saying that for me properly. Yep. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Mercedes is going to win, but it's going to be a great showcase match for Momo, just because whenever Stardom women come to AEW, they always have fantastic matches. So it's going to be a great showcase for her, and it's going to make people probably want to go check out her Stardom stuff.
Oh, she's from Stardom?
Ultimately, Mercedes is going to win.
New Japan this whole time.
Well, Stardom and New Japan is the same thing. It's just that Stardom is for the ladies.
Got you.
Yeah.
The match I am most excited for you to see in person. In a steel cage match, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher.
That's going to be amazing. I think Will's going to get it this time because Kyle beat him last time.
Yep.
That's it. That's my only logic on that one. Other than that, I just think it's going to be crazy as shit. Probably.
Yeah, I agree. This is one of those matches that if I was in the building for, I would be super excited to see it.
Yeah, my voice might be hoarse by the time this match is over with.
Yeah. Like, say what, like, you know, people can say what they want to say about Will's crazy acrobatic athletic style, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, he still really is that good.
Well, and I think to your point, I think the older he's gotten, he still does that stuff, but it's like spread out more. So it's like it's more impactful when he does do that, like, because he's gotten more into not really his mat wrestling per se, but his in-ring wrestling, I guess. Like, he's doing more suplexes and slam-based offense rather than always, you know, trying to jump off the ropes and do some shit like it kind of was at the beginning of his career. You know what I mean? Like, he damn near stayed in the air before. Like, now it's like when it happens, it actually means something. So I think he's kind of learned that being in America and like wrestling full time for AEW. Like, I do think that has helped him kind of slow that style down, because you have to be able to work TV style now.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if Rev Pro is on TV in Europe, or if, you know what I mean, like any of the other, companies that he worked for besides New Japan has, TV that they have to wrestle for. So now that he has to get used to working, okay, now we have a commercial break built in that you can't go crazy during the commercial break. Everyone's not going to see your shit. So you have to slow down. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's incorporated that more, and it's made his matches like more realistic, for the lack of a better word, like more like a wrestling match rather than, like you said, an acrobatic display. So
Yeah.
so that's why I think this is going to be dope too in a cage, because there's only so much flippy dippy shit you can really get off in a cage unless you're jumping off the top of the cage, which I'm sure somebody's going to do. So
yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Yeah, one of them is
both
jumping
of
off
those,
that
because
cage.
both of them are crazy. So
Exactly,
I don't
yeah.
doubt it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. For my most anticipated match of the night, and I think this is why it's anticipated for me, because I think I know the outcome and I think I know where it's going, to throw back on a previous prediction I had. So, Konosuke Takeshita versus Kenny Omega for the AEW International Championship. This is what I think is going to happen. I think Kenny Omega is going to win. And then I think at AEW All In, it's going to be Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada for both belts on the line. And then they're going to finally merge those belts so AEW doesn't have so many goddamn belts. And they can just have one international / continental championship, whatever. But ultimately, that is like super far predicting down the line. But that is to say that I think Kenny Omega is winning.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my prediction too. And the only other thing I'll say is we'll have the belts conversation on another show. Because when you break it down and do a comparison, I think it's just there's an interesting conversation to be had there. I'll just put it that way. So we'll talk about the belts on another show. But yeah. No, I agree with you though. I agree with that entire assessment. So
yeah. For the AEW Women's World Championship, there may be a stipulation attached to this match by the time you see it, but we don't really know yet. Timeless Toni Storm versus Mariah May. Third time going at it. Timeless Toni Storm just won the championship back, so I don't see her losing it. I
don't either. I think
she's not losing.
Yeah,
that one's easy. Okay, and for the big one, for the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus Adam Copeland. Steve, I know that there's a lot going in on this one, especially with this whole Death Rider story and how it's gone and criticisms, blah, 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 all this good stuff. I think, personally, something wild is going to happen in this main event, but I don't really know if I have Adam Copeland being the final person to walk out with the title, but I do think that tonight Jon Moxley is losing it.
Yeah, I got Adam Copeland beating Moxley for the title. And then I got Christian coming out with the briefcase with his contract. And then I have Switchblade beating up Christian so that he's not able to cash in said contract, putting his own name on the contract, turning on Adam Copeland, and walking out as the world champion. Because the rule is, it's not like Money in the Bank. Whoever wins it is the champion. It's whoever's name's on the contract. It's a blank contract.
Yeah, and Christian Cage has yet to sign it.
Correct. So all Jay White has to do is steal the contract from him, put his own name on it, and then boom, he's got the world title opportunity. So that's what I think is going to happen. Because Jay White is a better heel than he is a babyface, and I think he's been lining up Adam Copeland this whole time. I think he's trying to get him to trust him so that way he can swerve him tonight. That's what I see happening.
I think, like I said, I agree with you. I just don't know which way they're going to go. I don't know if they're going to have Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, just win the title outright. I don't
Yeah, I
know if
think
they're
so.
going to have Christian sign the contract and cash in. I also like you said, I do see the Jay White thing as a very high possibility as well. And to me, I think honestly, no matter which way you really go, I think all three outcomes make for very interesting TV going forward because of number one, a world title switching. Number two, the fact that the AEW World Championship hasn't been on TV ever since Jon Moxley won it back in whenever that was. And then number three, that kind of gives everybody a chance to refresh, and then we can kind of reset with a new world title holder and then kind of go from there. And the thing about Jay White, the thing that I love about what you said about Jay White winning the title, that is a very unexpected outcome that nobody, I don't think, would see coming. And I think that if you do that and if you capitalize and if you build on who Jay White is as a heel and his character, there's possibilities there where it can work, especially based on the actual feuds that he can have with different people, because Jay White can actually cut promos. He can tell stories in the ring. He's good at that type of stuff, but it just comes to him actually being able to give him the chance to actually do that.
Yep, absolutely.
I think we lost Steve.
Yeah, I think we lost Steve, but that's all right because it is 3:00 in California right now. That means the doors are open at the crypto arena. So I am about to roll myself up something and then roll over to the arena. So we definitely appreciate everybody for watching the show. By the time this comes out, obviously AEW Revolution will have happened already. So let's see if our predictions are correct. Outside of that, we, like I said, appreciate everybody who's been viewing the show. Check out Don't Call Me Diva. It's an Ethos production. It is a new podcast hosted by a good friend of mine, Bex Bastet. So please make sure that you check out my fellow sickos podcast, again, produced by yours truly. That is at Don't Call Me Diva on YouTube. And just go over there, show her some love and subscribe. But outside of that, I'll be back in Arizona tomorrow. And Eric, I'll tell you about everything when I get back. And, shout out to Steve and follow us.
Have a great time tonight, man.
Absolutely.
Shoot some videos if you can, all that good stuff. And hopefully I'll see you on TV tonight. That would be awesome.
Yeah, look by the look to the right of the entrance ramp. I'll be in that area over there.
Cool.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. Shoot Style Sessions. Peace.
Later, y'all.